Implied warranties are those warranties which are forced upon on the seller by the law. They are not expressed by the buyer and seller amongst themselves. Just like implied conditions, implied warranties are also forced on the seller by law. Now, even if the buyer and seller do not discuss these things out, do not agree on these things, the seller has to comply with these. So now let us see what are implied warranties. First, warranty to undisturbed or quiet possession. Now we know what is possession. Possession is the custody of the goods. It's the right to hold the goods. So what would be undisturbed possession? It is that kind of possession wherein your possession is not hurt. You are not left without the possession many times. The possession is with you and you are able to use the goods. For example, you go to a shop to purchase a cell phone. Now that guy, the shopkeeper, happens to be your friend. Now he knows that you own a phone. So the next day he comes to your place and tells you, my phone is out of order and I need to use your phone. I'm going for a meeting today, so I need your phone. Now, since he's your friend, you gave him the phone for a day. He returned the phone at night. So then you were happy, you got your phone. Now you used it, went to sleep. In the morning again you see him on your door asking for the phone. He tells you that he has a marriage to attend. So he'll require the phone because his phone is still out of order. So again, under the obligation of him being your friend, feel obliged to help him out. So you give him the phone. So the very night he comes back and gives you the phone. The next day again you see him at your door asking for the phone. Next day again you see him. Then he tells you he needs to go out on a vacation for 5 days, so he needs your phone. So like this, the whole month he had your phone. So what kind of behavior is this? Is this acceptable from the buyer's perspective? Wouldn't you mind your friend coming along every day and taking your phone? You'll obviously mind, because as a buyer you want quiet possession, undisturbed possession of the goods. You in this case did not have the possession for most of the time. You could not use the good for most of the time. The phone was with your friend who was the actual seller. So now you can go and tell him that, boss, I have purchased this phone from you. Now I should have undisturbed possession of this good, this phone. And if you do not allow me a quiet possession and undisturbed possession, you will have to compensate for the loss. Because you are keeping me away from my phone, the phone which I own for my purposes. I've bought it for my use. You're not allowing me to use it. You'll have to pay for it. In this case, you cannot return the goods because this is a warranty, mind you. This is a warranty, and breach of a warranty does not give you a right to return the goods, does not give you a right to repudiate the contract, does not give you a right to terminate or cancel the contract. It only gives you a right to claim the damages. Now, because you do not have your phone, you purchase a spare cell phone. Now you can go and tell him that, see, because of your behavior which does not allow me a quiet possession of the goods, I have purchased a spare phone, and you will have to bear the cost of it because it was your loss. You can claim the compensation for it. This is what damages is all about. So you can claim damages. Okay. So as a buyer, you always have the right to quiet possession, to undisturbed possession. And if the seller denies you of that quiet possession, that undisturbed possession, whatever loss you bear in this on this account, you can claim it from the seller. Okay, because this is an implied warranty that the seller should give you a quiet possession of the goods. Next, warranty as to non-existence of encumbrances. What do you mean by this word encumbrances? Encumbrances means charges like pledge, hypothecation, or mortgage. But mortgage is basically concerned with immovable goods. So I'll not take mortgage here because we are talking about movable goods. So warranty as to non-existence of charges like pledge or hypothecation. So goods which are under the charges of pledge or hypothecation, that is, you have kept those goods with somebody as security, and that person cannot sell those goods if you are paying him the debt. At the same time, you also cannot sell those goods till the time you have cleared your debt. Let's say you purchase an auto rickshaw with the funding given to you by the bank, and you'll pay the bank EMI. At the same time, the auto rickshaw will be hypothecated to the bank. Now you can use that auto for your livelihood and pay the EMI from your earnings. Now, in case you want to sell the auto, you cannot sell that auto because the auto is under encumbrance. It is under a charge of hypothecation. The title is not clear. It is restricted by some impediments, by some hurdles. The hurdle of charges. So for you as a seller to be able to sell the goods, we have learned that the title should be clear. That was the first implied condition as to title. We said that the title has to be clear. Now I am saying, to be able to sell the goods properly, not only the title has to be clear, but there should be no charges as well. Look, if there are charges, you can sell the goods, but in that case, whatever loss the other party bears, you will have to pay them. For example, let's take the same example. You take a loan from bank to purchase an auto. Let's say the auto costs rupees 1 lakh. You bring in 30,000 rupees and the bank funds you for 70,000 rupees. And then you happen to sell the auto. Can you sell the auto at first place? Yes, you can sell the auto, but with the permission of the bank. But you sell the auto without letting the bank know. Can you sell? Yes, you can sell, but in this case, the bank has to be paid up first. So whatever would be the sales amount, you'll have to pay the bank. At the same time, whatever losses the buyer will incur, because if you don't pay the bank, the buyer will pay the bank. The bank will go to him and ask him to pay. So if he pays, you'll have to reimburse the amount to him. You'll have to pay the damages to him, to the buyer. So the buyer here gets the right to claim the damages. So you see, wherever the implied warranty is breached, you get a right to claim the damages. Sorry. Next, disclosure of dangerous nature of goods. Yeah, this is very important. Many times in case of medicines, drugs, medical stuff, you see uh, a note of caution written that keep it away from the reach of children, keep it away from sunlight, store in a cool and dry place, etc. You see such notes of caution. You should not take more than 6 pills or 3 pills in a day. You see such things. At the same time, in many medicines, you also see notes that this medicine is inflammatory. That it may cause fire, or in perfumes and deo sprays, you see this product is inflammable. The tankers carrying oil, you see this note. Some chemicals which are highly reactive, you see these notes, because it is made mandatory on the part of the seller to disclose it on the face of the product that this product is dangerous, it may harm you, it may cause harm. So if the seller does not disclose it and the buyer, due to his ignorance, opens the product or does something which causes him some harm, then it is true that he cannot return the goods. Yet whatever losses he has incurred, he can claim them. He can claim the losses, because it would be here the implied warranty is being breached, and it is mandatory on the part of the seller to disclose the dangerous nature of the goods, but he has not disclosed it, because of which you have borne some loss. So he'll have to reimburse it, because this is a breach of implied warranty. Next, warranty as to quality or fitness by usage of trade. If you remember, we have studied this point in implied condition as well. But there it wasn't about by usage of trade, it was condition as to quality or fitness by the purpose of use, by the use. But here we are talking about the usage of trade. There we were talking about the use of the product. That is, you rely on the seller for the use of the product. You tell him the reason that you are buying this product for, and then you rely on him. Here we are talking about the usage of, that is how it is in the normal circumstances. Normally, how the goods are traded, what kind of quality is given. Let's say normally, oranges which are ripe are traded, then you should also sell the oranges which are ripe. But let's say normally the oranges which are not yet ripe, they are just about to be ripe, they are sold so that the buyers can store them for 2 or 3 days till the time they become ripe, and then they can consume them. So if the trade there is of such nature wherein the oranges which are not yet ripe are sold, you have to sell those kind of oranges. Because what will happen is buyers there are used to purchase the oranges which are not yet ripe. So they'll come to you and ask for oranges, you'll sell them. Suddenly they'll find that you've sold them ripe oranges, but the buyer wanted to purchase the orange which he can consume after 2 or 3 days. But because normally he purchases from other sellers such oranges, you get such oranges only in the market. So then it is your duty to disclose him that the product that you are selling is different from the regular product. Is whatever the custom is there in the market, your product is different from that custom. And if you do not disclose this and the buyer incurs some loss because of this, then you'll have to pay for the damages. Let's say the buyer purchased the oranges and he had to transport it somewhere, but since the oranges were ripe, during the transport they got overripe. So now he can recover the damages from you because it was your duty to tell him that the oranges are already ripe. Okay, so these are the 4 implied warranties. The first one is warranty as to undisturbed or quiet possession. Second, warranty as to non-existence of encumbrances. Warranty as to disclosure of dangerous nature of goods. And next, warranty as to quality or fitness of usage of trade. Now, what is the remedy in case of implied warranties? If the implied warranties are breached, then you can file a suit for damages. You can file a suit for damages. You can recover the damages. Here you cannot repudiate the contract. You cannot cancel the contract. You can only file a suit for damages. Okay. So this suit for damages would be for diminution or extinction of price, refusal to pay the price of goods, suit for loss exceeding the price of goods. That is, if the price of the goods has reduced, it has there's been a diminution, that is a reduction in the price of it, or extinction, that is you're not getting any price for the goods now. There's no seller in the there's no buyer in the market for your goods that you have bought from the seller. So then you can recover the price. Whatever reduction there has been, you can recover that, or if there hasn't been extinction, then you can recover whole of the price. Refusal to pay the price of the goods. If somebody refuses to pay the price of the goods, let's say the goods were harmful and when you opened them the box just exploded, then you can recover the price of the goods. Suit for loss exceeding price of goods. So you incurred a loss which exceeds the price of goods. Let's say you purchased the goods of 100 rupees and because of those goods you incurred a loss of 120 rupees. So for the next 20 rupees you can file a suit.